I've lost 15 stone and I've kept it off for 22 years. Have I lost sight of who I am as a person? It's a simple question, but it's a very complicated answer. When we start this journey, we don't do it thinking that we are going to become different people and the people around us are going to become different people as a result. Our identity changes and we need to accept our new identity and carry it forward into the future. Welcome to the Keo podcast with me, Mel Harris. I'm going to tell you something first of all, something you already know, but I'm going to tell it to you anyway. I'm Mel Harris. I've lost 15 stone and I've kept it off for 22 years. Whoopie-doos, right? That's great. I'm proud of it. And hence I have the Keo podcast. But who the hell am I? That is a question I ask myself and that many people ask. Have I lost sight of who I am as a person? And it's a simple question, but it's a very complicated answer. In some ways, yes, in some ways, no. It is a fact. Loads and loads and loads of people change jobs and end relationships when they have lost huge amounts of weight. There are a number of reasons why these things happen. When it comes to relationships, it's very easy to think, oh, it's all your fault, you're different, or you're behaving differently, etc. And in many ways, you might be right. But it's not just you that have changed, it's the people around you that have changed. They have to learn to get to know the new you. And the brutal truth of that is they might not like the new you. There are a lot of women whose husbands were quite happy and contented to continue in a drab, boring marriage, simply because they knew their wife was never going to leave them and there was never going to be any other bloke to come and steal her away, and it made them feel confident and secure. Suddenly, their wife is looking fantastically slim, wearing amazing clothes and getting lots of attention, and they don't like that. And so it causes a rift in what was an already vulnerable relationship. Surrounding ourselves with people who genuinely support us isn't as easy as we may think. There are people in our lives who have got their own agendas, and they might not be able to cope with the new you. Let's talk about the new you. I can talk about it from my perspective. When I was absolutely obese, I behaved in a particular way. I was 100% a people pleaser. I felt I had nothing to offer anybody, so I started pleasing everybody or trying to please everybody. So I lost my identity back then anyway, because I didn't know what music I liked, I didn't know what clothes I wanted to wear, I didn't know where I liked to go. Because if somebody said to me, oh, I love this music, oh, I like that too. And if somebody said, oh, I'd love to go to this club, oh yeah, I'd love to go there, even though I might have absolutely hated the idea of going there. So I ended up losing my own identity because I was only following the identities of other people that I wanted to like me. I was doing this in an effort to get them to like me and to notice me because I felt so invisible and so unlikable and so unlovable. So yeah, I was a people pleaser. I used to wear a certain type of clothing. I could only shop in those days in one store. So I settled on a type of clothing that presented me with an image that I tried to live up to. But it wasn't the image I wanted. It wasn't how I wanted to dress. It was because it was the best I could make of a bad deal. And so I had to adjust to it. And I found myself wearing pretty grungy things and oversized clothes that I could buy in Camden and getting my nose pierced, all again in an effort to get people to notice me. But I wasn't living the real me. I'm really grateful to one thing, and that is that having lost this weight, it has given me the opportunity to become more confident and to become the new me. But that in itself presents its own challenges. It's never easy, because when relationships break down, for example, it's very natural to think that you're at fault. It's a very natural thing to do. Sometimes you are at fault. Sometimes you're both at fault. You've just fallen out of love, or you're just going your own way. But there are many, many times when it's not your fault at all. It is the response you're getting from the person who is supposed to be your biggest hero, your biggest supporter. And instead, they're turning it all around and back onto them because they are feeling insecure with the new you. I hope that makes sense. If not, please drop me a comment and I'll go into it a lot deeper. But it's the same thing with your job. You might be in a job where you have accepted for many, many years you're going to be walked all over, you're not going to be treated very well, you're not getting your pay rises, and actually the bloody thing is boring as hell. And very often, losing that weight gives you the confidence to apply for new jobs. I know a lot of people now, some of my closest friends, who have put on a lot of weight recently. And at the same time, they've pretty much become hermits. They very rarely go out. If there's a big social party going on, they turn it down because they don't feel comfortable going out the way they are, which is obviously a great shame. If I had that mentality when I was obese, I would never have gone anywhere. I never would have done anything. Thankfully, I pushed through that. And I'm really hoping that my friends in particular can push through that. But the reason I'm bringing that up is because it highlights the fact that losing weight, whether it's half a stone or 15 stone, gives you the confidence to walk into the room, out into the world and do new things. Do you remember when you could actually talk to someone who knew your name, understood your business, and gave you advice you could trust? Well, at Simply Insurance Solutions, that is still who we are and how we work. We work with you to assess your current insurance needs and make sure that you have exactly the right cover, nothing more, nothing less. With over 40 years of knowledge and experience, our primary objective is to secure the most comprehensive cover that's robust and relevant for you at the most competitive price. Whether it's the increasingly essential cybersecurity, your commercial property, business, or your home, call 01707 291 200 and press 3 and 3. It'll get you through quickly and you'll be able to book your free, no obligation insurance review. Remember, the gaps in your cover won't show up until it's too late. We all change in a way. The change in us, those people that are losing weight, is basically the size of our bodies, the foods that we eat, the time it takes us to eat a meal, the clothes that we wear, the places that we go to, the people we mix with, the confidence that we get in talking to other people out of the blue. I would never have gone up and started chatting to somebody randomly. Never in a million years. What if they ignored me? What if they went, ooh, and turned away from me? Well, now I take that chance. And you know what? People talk back. They'll chat with you. Actually, my psychiatrist, when I was suffering with very, very dangerous obesity and depression, he said to me, Ma, I need you to do something for me. I want you to walk down the street smiling. That's all I want you to do. Walk down the street smiling. Look up, look ahead and smile. And look at how many people smile back at you. And it really, really worked. I was absolutely amazed how, by putting a smile on my face, made other people put a smile on their face. I'm not saying they were smiling at me. They were smiling with me. We do get joy out of seeing somebody laughing or smiling. It makes us laugh and smile. That's just a great place to be through a build of confidence. And I keep saying the word confidence. I keep saying losing weight gives us confidence. It does. And that only changes if we allow our environment and the people within our environment to put a damper on it, to hold you back, to quell the build of that confidence by feeding you their negativity, by letting you know that they are not happy with who you've become. I was helping somebody a couple of years ago now who went from a pretty ordinary, nothing much to speak about marriage to a physically abusive marriage. It was heartbreaking. I won't mention her name because it's her story and it would be for her to tell. But effectively what happened was, when she was large, she was the well-behaved, stay-at-home wife, did what her husband wanted to do when he wanted to do it, and that was it. That was her life. She lived her life through her husband. When she lost weight, he hated it. And his way of trying to stop her blossoming was by beating her up. I hope that doesn't happen everywhere all the time. I know it doesn't. I have to have faith in human nature. But it does happen. If you're in an abusive relationship, it's very hard to get out of, whoever you are, no matter what size you are. And that's not something for me to talk about. That's not my area of any expertise. I was there for her because I originally was there on her weight loss journey, helping her to keep it off. And therefore I got involved in the fact that she was being abused and was able to point her in the right direction. I genuinely hope and pray that there's nobody listening to this podcast who's going through that same thing. It should never happen. But it does show the extent to which we suddenly become a threat to those we thought we loved and who loved us. All I can say is, when that happened to me, when my marriage broke down, instead of despair, instead of focusing on, oh, look, I've got a failed marriage and all the negativity that goes with that. We hadn't even been married that long. I focused my energy into, okay, another new start. I'm now a new person again. I have no shackles and I'm free to go where I want and do what I want. If you can embrace your changes in that way, you can fly. You can and should fly. But it is very awkward in the beginning when we start this journey. We don't do it thinking that we are going to become different people and the people around us are going to become different people as a result. It's probably the last thing we would think of, but it is something that happens. Our identity changes and we need to accept our new identity and carry it forward into the future and be ruthless about that. And I'm always here to help you go through that part of the journey. So remember, comment on this podcast, contact me if you need to. All the links are in the show notes. I'm Mel Harris, and this has been the Keep It Off podcast.